Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain, here live from the Bluff City Media Studios. My man, Kenny Stubblefield, across the glass. Kenny, what's going on, bro?
I'm back, baby.
Man, back in this joint, man. I'm glad to see myself in full screen here.
Let's go.
my man, Paris Sharkey, had me looking like a peeping Tom shot or something. I don't know what he had going on.
Listen, man, in the studio, it's a lot going on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Paris killed it,
Paris
though.
doing a great job, for real.
I love Paris.
I saw the shot wasn't right. I didn't want to bother him about it because I didn't want to throw something that he may or may not have known about, how to deal with, and then he's stressing out about that. So I just let it roll.
It's all good, man.
I said we just going to let it roll. But I'm back, man.
Honestly, dude,
Hey,
after hearing
in
him,
4K.
after hearing y'all talk, I thought he was about to come for my job, bro.
Man,
I was like,
man. You know,
hold
brother,
up.
Hey, your brother will come for you, man.
I was like, hold up, man. I got to get back in here so I can get my job back, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I appreciate Paris for sticking in.
Shout out to my boy Paris Sharkey for sure, man. Got a great show coming up today. My man Chris Herrington from the Daily Memphian will be joining me for the Sitdown with Sain. Excited about that. Got some stuff to talk about in the three-pointer. My boy Richard Sherman out here talking crazy. Christian Wood, going to the Lakers. We'll talk about that. Big pickup. We'll talk about that. Sure.
Big pickup, but
yeah. My boy Caleb Williams. Yeah, and another black daddy involved out here, just saying and doing wild shit. I'm down with it though.
Hey.
I'm down with Caleb Williams for sure.
Leverage, baby.
And I also want to talk about some Derrick Rose comments that I did not get to talk about last show, but I want to make sure we talk about it today.
Some full circle comments,
Yeah,
man.
for sure, man. Got me a little emotional on 9-on-1 day for sure. We'll talk about those three things. The NFL starts tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions play. I want to talk about how you guys are going to watch the game and all games this season, as far as that's concerned, for Inside the Same Brain. And but since the last time we talked, the main thing on my mind right now is FIBA basketball. The United States won their last game, and now they're preparing for the Final Four. The Final Four games, Final Four teams left in the FIBA tournament are getting ready to square off tomorrow morning. Well, by the time you watch the show today, you'll know what already happened. Today's show airs at 12. We're recording this on Thursday, so you guys will know. I'm gonna play Back to the Future. I'm gonna predict the future. I'm gonna talk about this game as if it's already happened. Team USA triumphant over Germany today. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Germany gave us a hell of a game. They were down big in the first half. It seems like the United States just said, all right, let's stop playing. Turned it up. Jaren Jackson stopped them from scoring. You guys remember that.
That was a Tyrese Halliburton game.
Yeah, it was Tyrese Halliburton. Your guy, Tyrese Halliburton.
Your guy, Tyrese.
Yeah, a little Steve Urkel looking dude. But
the plant.
Yeah, the media playing himself, Tyrese Halliburton. This might be the show I tell y'all why I don't like Tyrese.
It might be time because it's almost over, right? Like we're almost done, so we might need to hear what's going on.
No, let the man get his medal first.
Okay, let's get. Yeah, maybe when we do a debrief of the World Cup, we can talk.
Yeah, we can talk about the issues I have with, not particularly with him, but the machine behind him.
The machine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
United States is getting ready to play Germany tomorrow, or had to win today, depending on when you guys are watching. And Serbia will take on the Canadian squad. I have an analogy. I'm going to put this tweet out in the morning, probably. Once I know what happens. This is a tweet I'm going to put out. I hope nobody steals my tweet idea, because I think it's a pretty dope tweet. I'm going to put up an analogy. I'm going to say Memphis is to Nashville as USA is to Canada. I think that's a pretty perfect analogy, too. But, I'm so ready for what looks to be a USA versus Canada finals, and I really hope that Canada doesn't drop the ball. I don't think we will, and I hope that Canada doesn't. I really want to play them. I really want to see. I'm gonna age myself, Kenny Stubblefield. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays for Canada, also Oklahoma City star. Because I grew up in the 90s, before I grew up as a teenager in the 90s, whatever, I want to call him Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because of the R&B group Shai. It was pronounced, spelled the same way. I called him Shai Gilgeous. It's clearly Shai, but I say Shai because of the group Shai. I want to see him. I want to see R.J. Barrett, and I want to see Dillon Brooks, of course. I'm excited to see Dillon Brooks.
I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that the broadcasting team for the last Canada game, they mentioned you?
They mentioned me?
Or at least your nickname.
For Dillon, you mean?
Dillon the Villain.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Man, you know what? If I had any sense back then,
right?
I would have trademarked it.
You would have trademarked it.
People think I'm lying. Like, I literally was saying that way before anybody was. It's on Twitter. Like, I was, like, Dylan's rookie year, I was calling him Dylan the villain. Like,
Right.
it's nuts that I didn't.
And that was when he was the trying to be not the villain. Dylan, what was his first nickname? We talked about this on Twitter.
They were calling him, Pete Predica was saying Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly, yes.
And somebody else was calling, he called himself Dillionaire or something like that. Dillionaire.
It's not
Dillionaire.
bad.
Anyway, yeah.
Dylan the villain is
iconic, man.
iconic.
And here's the thing about Dylan. There are so many aspects of Dylan's game that drive you crazy. A lot of it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to flat out miss his moxie. The guy had moxie. Like, he was a big moment guy. He was never afraid of the big moment. I'm going to miss the fact that there was never a game where I felt like Dylan was bullshit. There was never a game that I thought Dylan was like not giving a maximum effort or not trying to win the game.
That's it for me, right? No matter game 57,
he's going hard.
he's going hard.
Yeah,
every
he's trying
time
to win
he's
every
on
game.
there. Yeah,
And I'll give him credit for that. And he is one of the most entertaining players in the NBA. All the nonsense, the weirdness of his shot, the way that he'll take his shot in any situation, like he don't care. That's entertaining. The shit he talks. Having boxing gloves on, waiting for his team.
Freaking hilarious.
Oh, man. And you know he's going to, I don't know, he's 1,000,000% going to, like, probably get thrown out of this game trying to get under Anthony Edwards' skin. Like, you know he's going to pull out the wildest shit you probably ever seen him do in this game.
Tell me to make you more excited about when he comes back to Memphis.
Oh, I can't wait.
Against the Grizzlies.
And I hope Ja's back for sure. I'm sure that's going to be super dope to see him go against Ja or Bane or Jaren.
See, that's what pisses me off about this right now, though. Especially if the USA and Canada teams actually make it to the finals. I am so sick and tired of hearing about this. Who would you take, SGA or Ja? Ja should be on this team.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a World Cup finals with Ja and SGA?
Ja and Jaren against SGA and Dylan would be so freaking good. Man, that would be exciting for sure. But you know Dylan's going to be on his wildest shit. His worst behavior for sure. Shout out to Drake. Look at that Canadian just alley-oop out there.
You're a man of the you're a what's the word? A renaissance man.
Yeah, man. Worst behavior.
Everything.
Also made the video shot in Memphis. Come on, man. Don't play with it.
Come on, man.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to all that. You know, Dylan's gonna be on his real effery for sure in that game. Shout out to Dylan wearing the jaws. He's actually wearing the same jaws I have on my feet on the court.
What's up?
Yeah. So shout out to Dylan.
Who shoots better in him, you or Dylan Brooks?
Probably me. Well, he's shooting that mug in the
bro.
in the
Come
FIBA,
on,
though,
he had
sure.
one game, bro.
But
he did the same thing.
He's like 10 of 18 in the whole tournament.
Listen, I love
That
Dylan.
was gonna cook his ass at it, man.
I love Dylan, but come on, man. This dude does this. He has a game, and everybody's like, come on, man. Like look at what Dylan can do.
Yeah.
And then it's just nonsense after that.
And it's gonna cook him though, for sure.
Oh, Ant's gonna go ham on it. I love it.
But they're gonna get into it. Like he's gonna say something dumb or do something dumb to get Ant like riled up, and it's gonna.
We're gonna see some Bobby Portis minutes in that game, and Bobby's gonna come in, take him out.
But you talk about shit talking though. Like this is the same Anthony Edwards, bro, that was in that movie with Bo Cruz, like getting his shit off for sure. So I think he'll be able to hold his own as far as that's concerned. But
Anthony Slick had some real subtle stuff in that movie, man. He was nasty in that movie.
Yeah, he was pretty
talking
dirty
about the dude's daughter. Oh my god, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this for sure, man. Team USA versus Canada. Oh man, just get all the shit talking out the way. Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's get that FIBA championship for sure. As far as Jaren's concerned, a lot of people are upset with him. I'm going to definitely talk about Chris Herrington about this. I think no one coddles Jaren Jackson more than me and Chris Herrington, man. Nobody unapologetically are legit fans of Jaren Jackson Jr. more than me and Chris Herrington in Memphis media for sure. I'll talk to him about this. I think that like a lot of the perceptions of Jaren, people are kind of upset because of, the foul trouble, things like that. I think all things considered, Jaren has been great in this tournament. I know he's had the foul trouble, whatever, that have kept him out of games. But for him to be thrown into, from being a guy who's a full-time power forward in the NBA, to be thrown out there against some of the better bigs in the world, some of the better bigs in the world, and to hold his own, man. He's had dominant stretches in this tournament, man. And defensively, I am a little frustrated because it seems like Jaren is a guy who could be scoring the ball more. I don't know. We literally saw Jaren have a phenomenal season, especially ending the season. Just being dominant, scoring the ball, scoring in the post, scoring off the dribble, all those type of things. I would like to see Steve Kerr use him a little bit better than that. But when I call him a one-trick pony, people say, I'm just saying, he's never had a big man that he fed the ball to. He's never played that style of basketball. But I think that he could get some easy buckets from Jaren because I think he's shooting 70-80% probably, from inside the paint, having a tremendous scoring.
Steve's never had a big man like Jaren.
Yeah, he's never had one. Didn't even know what to do with James Wiseman. I mean,
right.
It's weird, man. It's weird for sure. But I think everything will be fine. I think we're gearing up for USA versus Team Canada for the gold medal in the FIBA World Cup.
It's going to be a tough game.
It's a gold medal or just a trophy?
Gold medal.
Yeah, that's what's up. But
It's going to be a tough game. I mean, SGA is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be tough. Like, who's going to guard him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a fun game in the finals.
He's going to be cooking dudes for sure, man. But, we're about to take a break, man. When we come back, like I said, my man Chris Herrington in the building, one of the most respected voices for the Memphis Grizzlies. Also going to talk to him about some soul food stuff. With my man Chris, got to talk about the soul food with him. That's what he does, man. One of the few guys I've sat down and had a meeting two sides with, my man Chris Herrington. So we're going to chop that up in the Sit Down with Sain when we come back here on the Anthony Sain Show. See y'all in a minute.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city. This will now be the second or third year in a row that in the preseason we've heard the coaches talk about, this is Rock Taylor's year. This is now this, that, and the third. This is the first game where I saw an extended period of time where he was impacting the game on a very real level.
The question has never been talent. Like, this is a kid that was very highly rated coming out of high school, was a 4-star at one point, was a Tennessee commit. This could be the year that he puts it together, and it's a year that Memphis needs him to put it together because they need an intermediate guy. They need a guy that can play underneath. Like you said, you mentioned the speed of Demir Blankumsey and what he does as far as stretching the field and being a slot threat. Towski Dub is a big player, but he's more of a 50-50 ball down the field, go get it. Rock would be like your intermediate, middle of the field, dig, slant, skinny post. Like, that's the guy for that.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
For me, I want to see the offensive line / the offense continue to run the ball. Like, I need to see continued progression.
I would love back-to-back 100-yard rushers, and this time against a FBS school would be great. Granted, you're talking about a team that just gave up over 600 yards of offense and 73 points, but
that's going to get written off immediately.
I would like to see that continue. I'm there with you. Offensively, taking care of the ball, please. Let's take care of it. Defensively, I want to see us getting after JT, and I want to see a couple more forced turnovers. Obviously, we had the fumble recovery the other night, but give me a pick. Give me 2 picks Saturday. As well as they played, I feel like that was the one piece that was maybe lacking defensively, was creating takeaways.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Told you guys I had a very special guest today. My man, Chris Herrington from the Daily Memphian is joining me. Chris, what's going on, man?
This is a fancier setup than your apartment on Jackson when the first time we did that.
Yeah, man, for sure. For those of you who didn't know, when I was doing the Outsiders podcast, Chris came over to my house when we were doing the Outsiders podcast. I ain't gonna say I forgot about that, but I'm glad you brought that up for sure, man.
Yeah.
But thank you for doing that too, man. It made me feel legit. That was one of my I had Chris Herrington, Gary Parrish, and Peter Evanson all came to my house. and we did the podcast. So shout out to you for sure.
Gary
man.
came to your place? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Gary had
that's a big drive. For Gary.
I know. Right, Gary was driving from somewhere in Mississippi. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. So looking into the Grizzlies season, I'm basically going to talk Grizzlies with you today. Of course, you are, of course, probably one of the most respected Grizzlies voices in the city of Memphis for sure. You've been that way for a long time. We're gonna talk soul food too. I know you're a soul food connoisseur.
Basketball and food, man.
Yeah,
man. The two best topics.
I was telling the guys earlier.
Throw some music in there. You get all my three.
We
favorites.
might could do that too. We'll do music too. Yeah. So I was telling the guys before we came on that you're one of the few media members in the city I've actually sat down and ate a meal with, and we ate some Peggy's soul food about a year or so ago. So we'll definitely talk about food, a little bit about music, and of course about the Grizzlies. Guess we'll start with FIBA basketball, what we're saying. There's been a lot of mixed reviews about Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm not really stressing about it. I'm actually excited about what I'm seeing from Jaren because he's kind of getting thrown into the fire doing things that he typically does not do, that's not responsible for doing with the Grizzlies. It's been a mixed review as far as the foul trouble and things like that.
Right.
Where do you stand as far as what you're seeing?
It's definitely been a mixed performance for him, but I think he's played better than the box scores.
Yeah.
If you watch him play, he has been better than his stat lines, his box score lines. And if you go and look, and this sometimes can be misleading, but in this case, I don't think it is. If you look at like the plus minus for all the players for Team USA throughout the tournament, the three best, I'm pretty sure, are Mikal Bridges, Anthony Edwards, and Jaren Jackson. And I think that's an accurate reflection of like who have actually been the most effective players and what players have impacted the team play the most. And has he fouled too much? Yeah, especially first half against Lithuania. It was a real problem there. Has he not rebounded enough? That's also true. It's a team-wide problem, but he's a big part of the problem. Has he defended great? Yes.
Right.
He's also shooting like 80% inside the arc, and that's not all catch and dunk stuff. It's mostly like throw the ball to Jaren in the post and let him create a shot one-on-one. And I think if anything, they've used that too little because can he get out muscled by a Jonas or a Nikola Vucevic? Sure, he's really a power forward, like playing out of position, just like Josh Hart is on that team. But he's quicker than those guys, and to me, they should be going to him more and letting him exploit them on the other end offensively. And so, I think he has been a net positive performer for that team. He's been among their better players, even though if he's had some problems in specific games. And I agree with you that like he's going to go back to playing power forward primarily for the Grizzlies as long as Steven Adams is healthy. But the great thing about Jaren is like the optionality. You can play him with a big center or you can play him with like a stretch guy like Santi Aldama, and you can maximize his strengths by playing him in different ways. And so he'll be used differently by the Grizzlies than he's used by Steve Kerr in the FIBA tournament. But he's getting a lot of reps and having to do the big man stuff. He's having to start a lot of screens, which is something he really needs to get better at. He's getting a lot of practice on that. And I think this will be a good experience for him.
I've had some criticisms of Steve Kerr, not just as far as Jaren is concerned, but just how he's managed certain things. Like, why did you think bringing Anthony Edwards off the bench was ever a good thing? You know what I mean? And Anthony Edwards had the comments about, Dwayne Wade came off the bench, but there ain't no Kobe's on this team. Like that was me. I was like, why are you bringing him off the bench? Halliburton, he's great, but why are you doing it? That was my thing the whole time. What I'm going to ask you is, do you think I'm being just a Jaren fan homer when I'm saying I don't think he's using Jaren well? You just pretty much answered it. But especially coming off the season Jaren had offensively at the end of the season.
You and I may be in the same boat, though.
Yeah.
When these topics come up on when I do radio every morning with Jeff Calkins, in my head I think, man, I'm sounding like a real Jaren homer saying this, but I believe it. I'm watching all these games. Like I see that they are so much better with him on the floor. You go to the game against Lithuania where he had the 3 fouls in the first half, which was a big problem. The reason it was a big problem was because they played even against them in the first half when he was on the floor, and they got run off when he was on the bench. And so I think from the perspective of maximizing him in these games, I think they could do things differently. I think to the degree that they have a problem, and they're probably going to win the tournament, right? But to the degree that they're having a problem, it's a problem more of coaching and in roster construction to me than player performance. And when you look at them, how they got hammered on the boards against Lithuania, that's the team you put together.
Right.
Like not only are you playing small, like across the board, you don't have any good rebounders on the team except for Josh Hart, and he's a 6'5" guy playing power forward.
Right.
And you watch that first half, Jaren could have rebounded more, but more so it was like Austin Reeves getting thrown around by bigger guards and Tyrese Halliburton getting thrown around. And they put together a team that has these weaknesses, and they think that they're going to, they're going to win anyway, and because of their strengths, and they probably are. But they did put together a team that has these weaknesses.
We didn't expect Santi Aldama to take the leap that he took last year. And I don't think that Spain expected him to take the leap he took this year in international play as well. He's
coming off the bench, and he's not the sixth best player on that team, right? He's got to be better than that.
He's been really good. How well do you think that translates into him taking possibly another leap this season?
It's interesting. I think he's got a higher upside than what he's shown. And he's only going to be in year 3. He's in his early 20s. He barely played as a rookie. And so I think, if anything, he may benefit more from this than even Jaren does in terms of taking a step forward. I think he's got to get stronger. I think this is going to help his confidence. I think he's got to get stronger. He's got to get better defensively. You watched in the playoffs, and that was a bad matchup, but he really struggled defensively against the Lakers. He led the team in scoring in Game 6 when they got run off the floor, and he didn't lose his head, right? So I think he's got a lot of composure to his game. He's obviously got a lot of style to his game, a lot of confidence, and I think it's interesting to think about what he can be. Could you look up and see him and Jaren as your primary combo in a couple years as they both get stronger?
Right.
It's something the Grizzlies got to really think about.
Also, Dylan Brooks, he's been playing for Canada, just rare form Dylan as far as the theatrics so far.
I love Dylan. Dylan, and I was much more of a Dylan fan than a lot of Grizzlies people were. But it's funny to me to see people who weren't paying attention to him, and then they'll look up and he has one good game in FIBA for Canada, and they're like, why'd the Grizzlies let this guy go?
Right.
It's complicated. But I like Dylan. I think Dylan, it was disappointing that Dylan couldn't quite get to his best self with the Grizzlies. And I think they probably made the right decision to let him go, especially when you see the contract he got from Houston. But I liked him as a player. I respect him as a player. I think he really is one of the best defenders in the league, and I think he's capable of being better offensively than he's been. Is he going to be that consistently? I don't know, but I'm rooting for him.
I've always thought that two things pretty much skewed Dylan's behavior, made him kind of see himself the wrong way. I think those things were playing on a team that was so bad his rookie year and being green-lighted to do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
And also having guys who were coming in behind him who weren't that far behind him, age-wise or just career-wise, and being asked to step back when he was trying to carve his own path at the same time. I think those two things definitely affected him.
I think that's true. I think those are good observations. I think what exacerbates that is the last couple of seasons, they had these last 2 years to try to get him in the right spot in the pecking order. They weren't totally able to do that, but part of that was the injuries they had. They weren't able to play the starting five they want together enough. And to me, I wrote about this some during the season last year. Did Dylan shoot too much relative to how well he shot? Yeah. But if you look at the games where he played with Ja and Desmond Bane, his shot attempts go down.
Right.
And to me, he showed a willingness to play a lesser role when the better players were out there last season, but they weren't able to get enough of it. And I think, they didn't have enough time, enough games together to really get him in that fourth option role that he needed to be in.
That's a good point.
And then it's just, his personality is such that he was too much in two consecutive playoffs, right? You go back 2 years ago, the frustration foul against Gary Payton,
right?
That takes him out of us. Not only took Gary Payton out of the series, took Dylan out of the series,
right?
And then you go this year with him poking the bear with LeBron, which the team really did not want him to do. And then he doesn't back it up on the floor. And then there was so much drama, we forget he got himself tossed out of a game in that series too with the flagrant foul.
Right.
I just think the combination of not being able to get him in the right spot in the pecking order consistently and getting him to accept it consistently with just all the drama 2 years in a row in the playoffs just got to be too much for them.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be out. John's going to be out, around 25 games or whatever with his suspension. The rest of the guys are going to start. More likely going to be Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, Steven Adams. Everyone is talking about who that fifth guy is going to be. Are you going to play 3 guards? Do you throw one of your younger wings in? Our good friend Daniel Greer from Grizz 901, one of our Bluff City media shows, He's stumping for John Conchar to start at small forward. A lot of people are talking about Luke Kennard. That's the one I'm pulling for. I think if you're going to go 3 guards when John comes back with Marcus Smart being your 3rd guard,
right?
Just do it now. Just go ahead and see how that works, especially when you have that level of shooting with Bain and Kennard. Where do you sit as far as that 5th person?
I strongly suspect that the team's own sort of default scenario is Kennard. That if you just throw the ball out there today, that's what they're going to do. They're going to play Kennard at the 3. I wonder if either, I don't think it would be Roddy, but I wonder if either Zaire Williams or Jake LaRavia is having a really strong preseason, if they're not tempted to reward one of those players with that starting spot, for the first 20 games, 25 games, whatever, until Ja gets back. I think there's a way for Jake LaRavia or Zaire Williams to earn that spot. Yeah. But I think they would really have to earn it. And in the absence of that, I do think it's Luke Kennard.
Speaking of earning the spot, there is a certain segment of the fan base, I say, that is kind of stomping for, not particularly stomping for, but rooting for to see what Josh Christopher is. I'm a proud member of that camp. Do you think that there's something he can do in the camp to prove he should be here?
Not unless there's some kind of trade that no one sees coming that clears up a roster spot. I do think so. They have Josh Christopher and they have Isaiah Todd, who both came in these trades. Right. And it's this thing that happens a lot in the NBA where you make a trade that's about something else. You have to take back a player when you do it.
Then we get excited about this stuff.
Yeah, people get excited about it. I do think that those 2 players aren't exactly the same. Like, I would say there's 0 chance Isaiah Todd's on the roster. Yeah. I would not say there's 0 chance in Josh Christopher. I think if something happened that opened up a roster spot, then I think maybe. I think he's a little bit more interesting, but I don't think they got 15 guys above him under contract. They believe in all of them enough that they're not gonna make a spot for him. If something unexpected happened that would create a spot, then maybe. But in the absence of that, I don't think it's going to happen. And to me, the question is, with Christopher and Todd, are they still going to be on the roster when training camp opens? Or are they gonna take care of that before camp?
Steven Adams has had the injury stuff that was going on or whatever, and combined with seeing Jaren look pretty good at center a lot. Yeah. What does the Steven Adams starting center with Jaren Jackson at power forward combination look like? Do we see less of Steven Adams starting, not particularly starting, but playing a lot of minutes, or does it look more like what we've seen for the past couple of years?
Steven Adams is only averaged, I don't know what the number is, probably 26 minutes a game, 27. He's not a guy who's going to play heavy minutes anyway. And so as long as he is healthy and the same player he's been the last 2 years, I don't know if his role will change that much in terms of a starter, in terms of total minutes. And it was already a situation where when it became closing time of tight games, he may not be the guy, right? They tended to go to Jaren at center more in that situation. So I don't think that's going to change that much as long as Steven Adams is healthy. But I think they need to figure that. So they're in a weird place where they're trying to win now. Like it's not rebuilding time anymore. Right. It's winning time. Right. But at the same time, they have decisions to make about a lot of players. And, you look up a year from now and Xavier Tillman's going to be a free agent and you're headed toward trying to make it a contract decision on Santi Aldama. And you're trying to figure out whether Kenneth Lofton's really a player because they have team options on him. Like his contract's not guaranteed after this year. I think part of what they have to do this year is figure out, and then you still Brandon Clark, under contract when he comes back. I think, they're going to go into this season with all those guys on the team. A year from now, they're not going to have all those guys on the team. And so I think they need to figure out, the great thing about Jaren is he can play with anybody. But they need to figure out, what does it look like with Jaren and Santi? What does it look like with Jaren and Tillman more? What does it look like with Jaren and Kenneth Lofton, right? They need to find their opportunities to look at all of that because they have decisions to make on those guys.
What does a disappointing season look like for Taylor Jenkins as a coach? Who's coming in? Him and Ja came into this together. So what does a disappointing year look like for him?
I mean, I think the Grizzlies as a whole, and maybe this is more I think this applies to the entire organization, but it probably applies to Taylor Jenkins more than anybody. Right. It's now playoff time, not regular season time. And so this is a team that has, I'm pretty sure this is right. I think they've exceeded, whatever the Vegas lines or the general expectations are. I think they've exceeded those projections in the regular season every year that he's been the coach. So doing that again would be great, but that's no longer the proving ground. It's the playoffs, right? And I don't want to set some artificial standard of you have to do this in the playoffs, But I think you have to feel good about the playoff performance, not only of your players, but of your coach. And I think the proving ground for Taylor Jenkins is now the playoffs, not the regular season. He's proven himself in the regular season.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about Marcus Smart as far as being a guy that can mentor Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns
That's
about
a big
him?
reason why he's there.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns about him actually being able to be the starting point guard in this team for 25 games?
Okay. I thought you were asking me if I had concerns about him mentoring Ja Morant.
Well, you can go there too.
It's two different questions, right? And I think I'm a big fan of the Marcus Smart acquisition. I think there's reason to wonder about both of those questions.
Right.
I found it notable that Ja like came out of hiding basically on social media to praise the Derrick Rose signing. I haven't seen him say anything about the Marcus Smart signing.
He did.
So I have noted that. I think Marcus Smart is a better player than Tyus Jones. I think Marcus Smart absolutely will have more utility for them in the playoffs than Tyus Jones, especially if Ja is back.
Right.
Will he be a better starting point guard in Ja's absence than Tyus Jones was? Tyus Jones was a really good starting point guard in Ja Morant's absence. And I think even though Marcus Smart's a better player, he's such a different kind of player than Tyus Jones. I don't assume that he'll step in as smoothly as Tyus Jones did and that they'll have as much success right out of the gate with Marcus Smart as a starting point guard as they did with Tyus Jones, right? Just because Tyus Jones, they were so used to playing with Tyus. Marcus Smart is such a different kind of player, and even though he's better, I don't know that the team will function as well immediately with him as starting point guard. I don't know. What do you think?
I think he'll be fine. I think with Rose being there too, it'll kind of help out even if he is kind of struggling to play the point.
Right.
We saw Bain kind of run some point. And I think you also said that over the years, not just Tyus Jones minutes, but any non-Ja minutes, the team was still fine as far as numbers are concerned. So
yeah, they did an interesting job the past 2 years because Ja's going to miss 25 games. He's been missing 25 games every year for different reasons, right? Everyone knows like they've done well when Tyus Jones is at the point guard, but the key to their success with Ja out is they've done well when Tyus Jones is not the point guard without having a third point guard, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the
Kenny
things
Chandler minutes look good.
well, he didn't play that much. I mean, it was really these lineups, and really 2 years ago when they had Melton and Kyle Anderson with Bain, you had multiple ball handlers. And the trick is, can they find other people other than Bain? But I think they really liked the look, and they didn't get a lot of it. But what they saw, they really liked Bain and Kennard together. And I think they really want to take a look at that. So I would say don't assume, even the first 25 games when Ja's out, don't assume Derrick Rose is playing all those backup point guard minutes every night. I bet there may be some nights like back-to-backs and stuff where they don't use him.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way on that for sure.
Also got Shaq Harrison after 5 games.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of intriguing though that they're adding him, and I know DeMichael Cole was like, keep in mind that once the Grizzlies hit that threshold,
that's what it is. I don't think it's a done deal that they're going to sign him to that open roster spot. But I think the idea is come to training camp, you're basically auditioning for that spot, and if we like what we see, we'll say, hey, just go sit on your couch for 5 games and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of interesting, being that you have Marcus Smart and you have Derrick Rose, that you're bringing on another point guard like that.
They have the spot, and again, I don't think it's a done deal. I think if they have some other injury in training camp and suddenly you've needed another position, you may go a different way with it. But I think, you can never have enough ball handling. I think Harrison's a guy who can he's sort of like a poor man's Marcus Smart. That he's a defense first player and he can defend multiple positions. So if you have a guy who can defend 1, 2, or the 3, at a good level, that's a good guy just to have around. And again, I may be proven wrong about this, but I am skeptical of how much Derrick Rose is going to help on the floor. I think that's a locker room signing. That's a Udonis Haslem signing.
Yeah, there are people who totally disagree with you. There was a guy that was arguing with me like he's going to get Kyle Lowry minutes. I'm like, no, man, Kyle Lowry gets like 30 minutes a game. I don't think he's getting that at all. I think Derrick Rose probably still has something left in the tank, but I'm just open to see. I want to see. I'm really intrigued to see.
He was really good 2 years ago with the Knicks, right? And he, A, wasn't very good, and B, didn't play much last season. And the mystery is that because he couldn't do it, or is that because the Knicks went away from him for other reasons?
Right.
And that's what we don't know.
Right. Something else, I'm going to come back to the part about leadership as far as helping Derrick Rose and all those type of things about Marcus Smart. But I've been a big proponent of believing that he's a guy that can guard the best player on the other team, whether he's a 1, the 2, or the 3. That's what I've been saying the entire time. Marcus Smart.
That's the idea.
Right. And everyone, I'm sorry, not everyone. A lot of people are coming back saying, well, I hope you're right. Because if you're not right, you don't have a lot of options as far as who's your guy to replace Dylan Brooks. Let's say it doesn't work. What does that look like? Like, what's your plan B as far as?
Oh, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
that's
work.
A major problem.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, and when that trade happened, I got a text from one of my best friends who's a he doesn't live in Boston anymore, but he's alive. He grew up in Boston. So rabid Celtics fan, watches every game. And he was basically like, we love Marcus Smart. You're going to love Marcus Smart. It was all this great stuff about Marcus Smart. And then it was, but yeah, I think the Celtics were trying to get out early because he's about to turn the corner, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there's some belief among some Celtics people that like he declined a little bit last season and the Celtics are like selling high before he turns the corner. That could end up being true. But there's also some belief that he was banged up last year. And my friend even said, you know, he had some hip problems last year and like he wasn't totally healthy. And so the question is, are you going to get last year's Marcus Smart, who was a good player? Or are you going to get 2 years ago Marcus Smart, who was Defensive Player of the Year, right? And I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But the idea of Marcus Smart is same, even though he's like 6'1", 6'2", and Dylan's like 6'6", 6'7", I don't think there's much difference in the two defensively in terms of who they can guard. And really with the Grizzlies, yeah, Dylan could like scale up and guard Karl Anthony Towns, and that was valuable.
Right.
It was more valuable for the Grizzlies that he could scale down and guard De'Aaron Fox and Steph Curry and Damian Lillard and those players. I think when John Morant's your point guard, you need your small forward not just to be a good defender, but to be a good defender who can scale down and take on guards.
Yeah.
And so if anything, Marcus Smart should be even better at that.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, I'm confident that it'll work. But another thing you got to think about if it doesn't work, if you can't have him being a guy that's playing 30-something minutes a game, being guarding the best
Who's
guy.
stepping up defensively?
Right.
And Zaire better be as good as people thought he was 2 years ago. Right?
And not just that. And if you take him off the court, as being that small guy who can guard the 3, you're talking about a guy who's a backup point guard at that point, which is a disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. You mentioned guys like Zaire, Jake LaRavia, David Roddy, those type of guys. Do you see any of those 3 guys breaking through and being anything, and if so, who?
I don't know. I'm not out on any of them, but I'm not totally sold on any of them either. I still think, you know, Roddy actually played more minutes last season than LaRavia and Zaire Williams combined.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think I think it's a problem if that happens again. I still think Zaire Williams and Jake LaRavia have a higher upside than David Roddy. I think they both have potential, but like, you know, potential doesn't always work out. I think the Grizzlies have set themselves up where they need one of those 3 players to be a good rotation player this season. And I don't think it's a certainty that any of them will be, but they really need one of them to be because they need a big wing in their rotation who could be a good player on a playoff team. They had an open roster spot to try to go, at least, if not get that player, get some other player who could give them another chance at it. They used it on Derrick Rose because of the locker room stuff more than the point guard stuff. And so that leaves it to those guys. I'll throw this out there, though. I'm going to be watching Vince Williams Jr. in preseason.
Man, you and me both. That's my guy, man.
He was maybe their best player in the summer league.
Yeah, I'm watching them for real. If
none of those dudes step up, I wouldn't count out him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like his game. He's like what, 6'6". He can knock down threes.
He's got those long he's not quite as athletic as you'd like him to be in terms of that like twitchy athleticism, but he's got those long arms. He's got a defensive mentality. Like, is he gonna knock down shots consistently? To me, the upside with him, like the odds of him hitting this are slim, but it's possible. The upside of him is like a Contavious Caldwell Pope kind of classic 3-and-D guy, you know?
I can definitely see it. We talked about leadership with guys like Smart and Rose. What is that? Is that a real thing? Like,
I don't know.
Ja seems to be a guy
it's a good
where
question.
It seems to be a guy where Ja seems to be the type of guy where Ja's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, he might listen to you about stuff on court and you big bro and all these type of things, and I can see all that happening and not having no resentment towards those guys. But once those games are over, I could totally see him be like, all right, man, that's cool, but I'm about to go do me. He seems like he's
one
of
the reasons, you know, they made the draft night trade last year, and they traded DeAnthony Melton for the rights to David Roddy, and they took in Danny Green's expiring contract with it, right? They could have cut Danny Green. They could have tried to flip that contract. That's then, right? One of the reasons they didn't, and they carried him into the season, was they got really enamored with the idea of Danny Green, veteran presence in the locker room, right? And if you remember Media Day, Danny Green talked about like he's going to be the veteran presence and the veteran influence. And we see how the season went, right? Not all veterans are created equal, and not all veterans, are going to, not every player is going to respond to every veteran the same way. I don't know what's going to happen. I know that the Grizzlies believe that Derrick Rose, and especially Derrick Rose, but also Marcus Smart, are players that Ja Morant will pay more attention to than he paid attention to Danny Green, right? And I think go back to Ja's rookie year, he seemed to have a good rapport with Jay Crowder and especially Solomon Hill, right? And so I don't know whether that's going to have an impact. I know the Grizzlies believe it's going to have an impact, and that's partly why they did it. That's not the only reason they did the Marcus Smart thing. I think, the idea of replacing the Dillon Brooks role was very important to them. So that was primarily an on-court thing. But I think the veteran locker room influence in a way that they felt would have actual influence was a part of that equation. Yeah.
It seems like Smart is going to be more of a in-your-face, loud type of guy with Ja. And it seems like Rose is going to be the more whispering in his ear.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Standing beside him and just kind of saying stuff. I don't think he's going to be the guy in Ja's face.
Could be the good cop, bad cop, right?
And I'm sure those two guys will kind of work together with Ja. It'll be interesting to see, man. I think we'll see. I think you're going to see more on-court maturity from them. I don't think they're going to stop him from just doing Ja stuff that he wants to do off the clock, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't see how.
Ja's got to have that come to Jesus himself, and hopefully he already has, right? I mean, if this 25-game suspension doesn't do it, I don't know what will. But the Ja stuff is obviously the Ja stuff is frustrating, right? News flash. But it's especially frustrating because it seems like so easy to get past, and because he is so great, and it's just you just want to just go be great, man. Just go be great, and it's so unnecessary. The stuff that has sort of sidetracked him, and I just have to have faith that he knows how great he can be, and he knows this has sidetracked him, that he'll just get it back together.
We talked about food to start the segment. Like I said, you're one of the only people in the city, media-wise, that I've sat and had a meal with. We went to Peggy's.
Shout out.
We went to the original location too, right? We didn't go to the temporary.
Cleveland.
Yeah, we went to the one on Cleveland. Probably the best soul food in the city to me. We'll talk about that as well. I know that you're a soul food connoisseur. I know you are a master of the 4 veggie plate. I know you can break one of those down in a minute.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that today. That might be next time I bring you on. If you had the opportunity to pick your perfect meat and 3 sides plate, what would that look like for Chris Herrington?
So I got to go with the fried catfish.
Okay.
I'm usually the same. I'm a soul food guy. I'm a southern home cooking guy. Right. I got country roots. It may not seem that way, but like my grandparents on my dad's side had a little farm when I was growing up, hogs and chickens and shelling peas on the porch, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then on my mother's side, my grandparents ran a catfish restaurant in a little town in Arkansas. So I grew up with catfish. So I got to have catfish as my main thing. Catfish goes with creamy stuff. The reason the catfish and spaghetti, which is a Memphis soul food thing.
I was sitting back man, my guy got to say fish and spaghetti now. Okay.
Well, that's not what I'm going to have on my plate.
Okay.
But I'm saying the
now.
reason that works is because sort of the creaminess of the spaghetti works with the catfish. That's why catfish and mac and cheese is great.
Yeah.
Catfish and cheese grits is great.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to go with some cheese grits, fish and grits, and then I'm going to have black-eyed peas, and I'm going to have fried okra, but it's got to be skillet fried okra. Fresh, tossed in the cast iron skillet where it doesn't totally the batter doesn't totally stay on the okra, but it has that sort of fresh taste. So I'm doing that, and I'm going to have hot water cornbread with that and give me an iced tea with fresh lemon.
That sounds all right.
That's what we're doing.
All right, but you broke down fried okra one time. Was it you or Edmondson was telling about that? Said they cut the okra long ways or something like that?
I sometimes I roast okra, and that's the way I roast oven roasted.
That sounds all
That's
right.
the way I do it. Yeah, that's not as good as fried okra, but it's healthier.
Right. I'm with you on that. Someone asked me. Someone DM me on Twitter around 9 on one day, and it was like, I got somebody who's visiting Memphis soon. Where would you tell them to eat? Right. So I had to pick. I said, okay, let me just kind of run the gambit of what I think the big 5 are in Memphis. I think that's Wing Place, Chicken Spot, which aren't the same thing. Wing Place is Chicken House, Pizza Place, Barbecue, and what was the other one I said?
Was it pizza?
Soul Food.
So okay.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you, what would you put in your you're welcome to Memphis, kids.
All
As far
right,
as
you
that
give them to
goes.
me one at a time.
All right, let's go. Let's go with we started with soul food. Where would you go? Soul food.
So I love Peggy's, but I haven't actually been back. I don't know if I've been back there since I ate with you. My favorite place, and it's a little less accessible for most people than Peggy's, is Miss Gurley's. Miss Gurley's is at Danny Thomas and Chelsea,
Right.
North Memphis, and they've got a few tables, but it's mostly a get it to
Get it
go
and go,
place. And
yeah.
so you go in the back door and you stand in line and you go.
You literally go through the back door.
You go through the back door and you stand in line, and they have their little serving. It's not a buffet, but it's a serving
Cafeteria style.
Yeah, and so they'll have 3 or 4, meats, and then 5 or 6 sides. So you get your meat in 2, not 3, and your cornbread or whatever, and you get it to go. And in terms of just quality of food, to me, that's my favorite place, man.
Okay.
That place has never failed me in terms of the quality. I was just there 2 months ago.
All right, best wing spot.
So I'm a little. I may have to turn in my Memphian card on this. My favorite wings are at barbecue places, and so
I hear a lot of people say that. I don't agree, but I
know. I'm not. It is not the consensus, but I like the wings at Cozy Corner,
They fine.
and I like the dry spice wings.
How do you
at
get them at
Central
Cozy Corner?
with hot sauce?
The hot barbecue sauce.
Hot barbecue sauce.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
sir. Fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I got to go hot with hot sauce at Cozy Corner. I go the dry spice at Central.
Okay.
In terms of wing places, these wing places are too expensive.
They up there.
And so
They
I
up
don't know. If I'm being honest, new wing order, because they have the place down on Bill right by FedEx Forum, so that's easy for me. And then they also have the food truck that'll be out places.
Wait, they've got a building on Bill Street.
Yeah, they partnered with one of whatever the brewery is there.
Okay, I got you.
That's right by the arena. And so I don't know. I don't really go out to the wing places much, and so I most of my wings are from barbecue places.
All right. Best barbecue place.
It's a three-way race for me. It's Cozy Corner, it's Payne's, and it's Barbecue Shop, and it depends partly on what I
What you
want to
eat.
get,
Yep,
right?
uh-huh.
But if I have to only pick one thing, one place, give me a sandwich from Payne's.
Yeah,
that's the top for me.
That Payne's pulled shoulder sandwiches is incredible. Just don't know when they ever open. You just got to kind of.
Yeah, they're not usually open late, but
Right.
you go there for lunch, you're usually good most days.
Payne's is one of those places where if you're driving down Lamar and they're open, you just go stop.
Right,
Whether you're hungry or not, just go get it because you just go grab it. Chicken House,
So I know it's more romantic to love Lou's. Lou's is the mom and pop shop, right? And Gus's is the big chain and whatever. I like the chicken better at Gus's. My thing is that I don't really like my fried chicken sweet. And so I also don't like the Nashville style hot, which to me is gimmicky. I like a good spicy chicken without the sweetness to it.
Right.
So Gus's is exactly the way I like my chicken. So I'm going with Gus's.
I like the sweet and spicy love at Uncle Lou's, but their home style, just regular chicken, Gus's is better than it.
That's my thing. I like a good spicy, not sweet chicken. So I like the way Gus's does it.
I get your point on that. Memphis isn't particularly known as a pizza city,
Right.
So what's your favorite?
So it's interesting to me.
pizza
There's kind of a Memphis style pizza, which is similar to the Chicago tavern pizza. You think of Chicago as the deep dish, but they also do tavern style, which is cut into the squares, right? So there's a Memphis style pizza that's like X Lines and Fox Ridge and Broadway, and I really like Broadway. That's kind of my spot. So in terms of that style, I would go Broadway. But really, if I'm being honest, my favorite pizza in town is Little Betty, which is down in the Wiseacre Brewery downtown, close to FedEx
I never
Forum.
heard of that, man. I'm a pizza guy.
Yeah, they have a pizza counter. It's inside the brewery, but they have a pizza
Inside
counter.
Wiseacre.
And it's the same people who do Hog and Hominy,
Okay.
but it's a different style of pizza.
You ever been to Slice of Soul?
I have not. I always mean to. It's right. That's on Madison, sort of
Yeah,
right there near Madison and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Is that still open? I always wonder about
they have
it.
odd hours too. They're only open Wednesday
Right.
through Saturday, and they're open till 4:00. They've kind of ventured into the social spot thing.
Okay.
They're more of a
They've done hip hop shows there.
yeah.
before.
They have entertainment. They have karaoke. They have a DJ night,
Right.
blues night, comedy shows, all those. So they're the pieces kind of. I don't want to say it's second fiddle, but they have those things in a company.
But they do. Their pizza stylistically is kind of like Slim and Husky's, right? It's that
Kinda
sort
like
of
the Slim and Husky's,
that
Memphis
oblong
Pizza Cafe.
style,
Yeah.
cut into squares or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty good stuff though. Final question for you.
All right.
Memphis has a long, rich musical history. You know what I mean?
Got my Stacks hat.
Right,
Is that what
exactly.
I'm wearing today? There we go.
It seems like Memphis music is like predominantly just hip hop. Just the Memphis sound now is more so hip hop.
In terms of what's coming out of the city that's popular and successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you sit with it? Like, are you okay with that? As
You're trying to get me in trouble. I am. So I'm a hip hop fan. First of all, I'm just a pop music fan. So I mean, I listen to pretty much everything genre wise. But you know, you're gonna make me show my age here. Like I came of age with like the second wave of hip hop, not the Sugar Hill Gang, Funky 4+1,
Right.
but like when Run DMC hit and when LL Cool J and then Public Enemy, like that is the music of my childhood, right? My tastes do not run to Memphis rap, really. I like there's stuff I like 8 Ball MJG. I really like the early Don Tripp stuff. There's stuff I like, but my favorite stuff, it's De La Soul, it's Public Enemy, it's Eric B and Rakim. That's more the East Coast stuff. If I'm being honest, that's what I like better, you know.
It's just my thing is this: like, if somebody comes to Memphis and they're like, "Well, take me out to go see Memphis music," I'm gonna take them like to go see a live band or to BB King.
Hip hop is not really alive. It's never been alive other than like out in the park in New York, DJ Kool Herc or whatever. It's not really primarily a live music. It's primarily a studio music.
I'm
Right?
gonna take them to see some blues, some folk, some funk, some soul, things like that. But that Memphis sound isn't coming out of Memphis anymore. You know what I'm trying? That's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't know if it's coming out of much of anywhere anymore. Like I was never, hopefully I won't get in trouble for this either. I've never been much of a Beale Street guy. When I was in my 20s, before I had kids and stuff, my wife and I used to go to Wild Bill's there on Valentine. I know that's still a going concern, but like we've aged out of that.
Yeah, Chris Herrington, North Memphis resident too. Put that out there. Yeah. I've seen,
depending on where you draw the lines, right?
I saw you. I was driving when I lived in that crosstown area.
You texted me. You thought I was in trouble.
Yeah,
You thought my car broke down.
I saw you walking down the street. I was like, Chris Herrington might be on crack. But no, you were walking through North Memphis at like 9 o'clock at night. I said, Chris, you good?
Let's get some exercise, man. I mean,
I was like, my guy, you good?
I wasn't that far from the Valentine Evergreen line,
but I knew you lived out that way. But I was like, well, let me check on my guy just to make sure.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, my man out here just walking through North Memphis out here. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, good stuff though, Chris, for sure, man. I appreciate you coming out today. But man, Chris Herrington from the Daily Memphian, man, y'all know how he gets down, man. One of the true vets, true legends, most respected minds in the city of Memphis when it comes down to the Memphis Grizzlies. Soul food and music for sure. About to take a break. When we come back, the 3-pointer coming at you here on Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
For me, I want to see the offensive line / the offense continue to run the ball. Like I need to see continued progression.
I would love back-to-back 100-yard rushers, and this time against a FBS school would be great. Granted, you're talking about a team that just gave up over 600 yards of offense and 73 points, but
that's going to get written off immediately.
I would like to see that continue. I'm there with you. Offensively, taking care of the ball, please.
Yep.
Let's take care of it. Defensively, I want to see us getting after JT, and I want to see a couple more forced turnovers. Obviously, we had the fumble recovery the other night, but like, give me a pick. Give me 2 picks Saturday. As well as they played, I feel like that was the one piece that was maybe lacking defensively, was creating takeaways.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Colorado this year is like if college football added an expansion team and people were acting like they knew how that team would play.
Right.
In the history of college football, we've never been able to say this is a completely, entirely different from top to bottom coaching staff, players on the field, new team. I think at the collegiate level, that schemes and all that stuff matters to an extent. But I think being a leader of men at the collegiate level is more important than anything else, because you're dealing with 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
Right.
And not only do you have to get them to believe in the schemes and the system and the plays that you're running, but you have to get them to believe in you as a coach and your coaching staff, and you have to get them to believe in themselves.
Yeah. Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
Welcome back to the Edge of the Sain Show, y'all. It's time for the three-pointer where I talk about three things in the world of sport that mean something to me. Might not mean nothing to you, but you tune in to watch me, so I'm assuming you kind of give a shit about something I'm
Let's
talking
go.
about. Yeah. Y'all know why y'all here, man. Y'all seen the billboard, man. Y'all know why y'all here for the kid, man.
Hey, man, that billboard, man.
That shit was sweet as hell,
Looking
bro.
clean as all
Yeah,
hell.
especially at nighttime. It's
Yeah,
just glowing, man. Yeah, shout out to my boys TJ and Trey. I ain't gonna lie, man. TJ and Trey, like, you know how they say act like you've been here before?
Yeah,
Like, I don't act like I've been here before on nothing I do.
right.
But why don't dudes act like they've been here before? Like, it seems like they should be the ones that's, like, going crazy. Like, I got a billboard. Like, why y'all ain't acting a nut about it?
Can I tell you a behind-the-scenes thing, what happened today?
Yeah, go ahead.
You sent those pictures out in our Slack channel, and I sent them over to TJ and Trey, and TJ's first comment to me was, did he get it while it was changing? Because it looked like pixelated. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
It's
nah,
just
bro,
'cause
he
of-
was moving.
No, I was sitting still, but it's just because of the way it is. Like, you know, it's those things are made of a bunch of little screens
panels,
of light.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the camera doesn't read that well. It's not like it's solid. You know what I mean?
I laughed because I was like, TJ, you got a billboard, bro.
What are you talking? Like, yeah, man. And I shouted out to my man Gary Parrish this morning because Gary he made a joke about the last billboard I had didn't have anything to do with sports. It was something that We Are Memphis. I think it's the name of the website. We Are Memphis did. They had me on one of their billboards. And Gary Parrish and Jeff Calkins, they joked about it. Gary was like, man, I've been doing this for 15 years. I ain't got a billboard. He was like, how the heck you say get a billboard? You know what I mean? He joked about it. So I shot him a text today. And I said, GP, I said, another one, man. I said, you're down 2-0 and it's feeling like a soccer match.
It's over.
Right, it's over, bro. You're down 2-0. This ain't basketball, man. You down 2-0 in a soccer match, fam. For sure. So
Hey, man, some folks' face are meant for a billboard, some aren't.
Some ain't, man.
Some
Being
ain't.
real. Hey, it is what it is. Man.
Love you, GP.
Hey, but if you ever want to trade paychecks for my
Let's
billboard,
go.
hey, yeah, I will go up there and get butcher paper and make you one.
Personally put Gary's,
If you don't want to
Gary's
trade
head up on
paychecks,
there. Yep.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, number one, I want to get to this one. I totally skipped over this last show. I knew it was something I was forgetting to talk about last show, but I'm going to interrupt you guys today to talk about this now. And it's a little dated. I don't really care. On September the 1st, 901 day, news came out with my boy Parth from the Daily Memphian saying that Penny Hardaway had conversations with Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose saying he wants to be a part of this year's Tigers team.
Come on, man.
And just be reconnected with the University of Memphis, man. I ain't gonna lie and tell you that the kid didn't get emotional, man. It's here. It's happening, Kenny Stubblefield. Derrick Rose, just kind of making things right, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Being a part of this team sounds amazing. Sounds absolutely phenomenal to see Derrick Rose, a guy who was part of that 08 team that went to the national championship game. We've talked so much about Derrick Rose as being Ja's mentor and possibly show you some glimpses of the guy that was, you know, MVP and Olympian, All-Star, all these type of things. The guy was coming in, breaking the league with his athleticism in court vision at the point guard position. But we haven't really talked too much about how freaking good Derrick Rose was that year.
Oh, my God.
During 2008, man. You're talking about a phenomenal player. This guy ruined DJ Augustine's NBA perception to me. I always thought he was a scrub just because that one game when Derrick Rose was killing that guy. So happy to see D Rose attempted to be connected with this program. Definitely could be another ambassador that Penny Hardaway could use, a guy that a lot of these guys there in high school have childhood memories of Derrick Rose being cold.
Man.
You know what I mean? Another guy that you can possibly take with you to, or just use as a liaison. Use as a guy to help you recruit. And man, Who would be surprised to see Derrick Rose on Penny Hardaway's bench?
Nobody.
You know what I mean? Imagine having Penny Hardaway and Derrick Rose sitting in your living room. Yeah, imagine that kid having a chance. You know what I mean? For sure to not say yes to the University of Memphis.
Imagine any coach trying to go up against that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, who'd you have last weekend in? Derrick Rose and Penny Hardaway were sitting on my couch last weekend. Bro.
And you got Penny with this, $1,000 Nike tech suit on with some fly ass Penny Hardaway shoes.
Man.
Derrick Rose got some limited edition Adidas set on. You know what I mean? Come on, man. This guy's gonna kill the game.
I have a question for you about this. How quickly do you think Derrick Rose becomes? I mean, I know he already is. I can't wait for the first game, preseason game, whatever game it is that he steps on the floor for the first time in the FedEx Forum. Mm-hmm. But he's going to be immediately rocketed up the ship in terms of fan popularity.
Oh yeah,
Grizzlies history, right?
Yep. And he'll be a guy that people are really going to want to see get on the court and do something amazing. I'm looking forward to that for sure. To seeing him being a part of this team. I think, I don't know, man. I kind of waver back and forth. I'll talk to Chris about this probably to see where he thinks about what Derrick Rose's role will be. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that role is going to be like. I don't know what him on the court is going to look like.
Imagine him having a game in the fourth quarter where he just comes in and takes over.
Yeah.
Just one
nuts.
game.
Just be nuts. It'll go crazy for sure. And you know it. Speaking of going crazy, NFL starts today. But I'm not going to talk about on the field stuff. I'm going to talk about a story that I'm kind of intrigued about. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, phenomenal guy, getting some crazy comps of who he could be when he goes to the league. A guy who's going to be surefire number one pick in the NFL draft. There's reports coming out that he and his father are considering him staying in college another year, simply because, and the word is that he doesn't want to go to the Arizona Cardinals. This feels like a kind of a ploy to get them to trade their pick.
Right.
But I looked at this first like, oh, man, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Like, you're not going back to college. And I started thinking, man.
NIL, baby.
In the NIL era we're in, man, I would not be surprised if this kind of works for them.
NIL strikes again, bro.
Because he could go back to school and just kind of bullshit.
And make a shit ton of money.
And then he can kind of pick his spot.
Yep.
He could come back and try again. And, it may not be the Arizona Cardinals. It may be a totally different situation. He could just kind of do his thing. You know what I mean? And I'm interested to see how that whole thing plays out, man. I think he sounds crazy doing it. I don't really think he's going to do it.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, but, and with the NIL stuff, that dude's probably making – he's probably making at least $1 million a year in NIL.
Oh, I would say
not
multi-millionaire.
Yeah, so we'll see. I doubt it's going to happen, but bold move, bold statement coming from the Caleb Williams camp. I don't want to go to the Cardinals either.
Listen,
the Cardinals have the most trash. Like your mascot is literally a bird, a little bitty bird. Like you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Did you see the head coach?
What are y'all?
Did you see the coach? Head coach for the Arizona Cardinals come out. They posted a video of him giving his first speech to the team.
Yeah.
And he started talking about who drove the bus over here, who rode on the bus.
Yeah.
I need some effing killers out there on that field. Like that was his whole thing. And it was like, you can see the players' faces, man. They were in the room, and the players' faces, they were like, "What the hell? Like, is this supposed to rile, like get us going? Like, what in the world are you doing, man?
Get out of here.
Yeah, it was wild.
You ain't Coach Prime, man. Get out of here, man. Number 3.
Do you believe?
Do you believe? Do you believe now? Do you believe? Shout out to Coach Prime, man. You might get me on Coach Prime nuts every show. Just to let y'all know for the entire college football season.
Do you believe?
Do you believe? But yeah, number 3, man. Big pickup by the Los Angeles Lakers. I got to give credit where credit's due. I hate the Lakers organization. Watching Winning Time makes me think that they're the most bootleg, thrown together ass organization ever. And there are not many people that make me think any different. They've won several championships, a ton of championships.
Yeah.
But they've had so much incredible luck. So much of benefiting from just poverty organizations like the Memphis Grizzlies, giving them Pau Gasol, and the Charlotte Hornets giving them Kobe Bryant off of some finesse, scamming type shit.
Last year pissed me off more than anything.
Oh,
though.
man.
Last year pissed me off. Y'all sucked.
Yeah.
And then you just went out and just built a new team halfway through the year. It pissed me off.
Pissed me off real bad, man, for sure. But they added Christian Wood yesterday, a big signing. Christian Wood, a guy who was averaging, I think, like 16 and 9 last year.
Can ball, man.
Here's the thing I have to say. First of all, Richard Sherman sounds ridiculous comparing him to Pau Gasol. One guy's a Hall of Famer. One guy just signed a 2-year minimum deal at 27. So, like, there's a big difference between
come on, man.
Pau Gasol and that dude. And one guy is head case and others not. I mean, that's kind of where my comparison stops. I'll say this about Christian Wood, though. There's a lot of negativity about him as far as being difficult to coach and a head case, etc. My thing is, what in the world is that dude doing?
Right.
Like, for real, though. Like, I've always wondered, like, I want to hear specifics of what the actual problem is. Because whenever we played him, he's had pretty good games. He's talking about a guy that can knock down threes.
Yeah.
He's got a mid-range game. You know, he can rebound. He can score. Like, what is he doing that are making him get in the doghouse with every team he goes to?
Was he with who are his coaches with Houston? It was Silas, and who was the one before him? Who was
McHale or somebody?
Was it McHale?
I don't know, man. I'm probably way off.
No, it was Bickerstaff.
Bickerstaff, yeah.
Bickerstaff, and then Paul,
you don't hear me. You just hear he's a difficult guy, but you don't get what he's doing. And my thing is, like, Christian Wood was like, it's not like he's like a guy that was drafted highly or drafted, first round or in the lottery. He wasn't even drafted at all. You think those type of dudes would be humble as hell? Like, like, what is he arguing about? Like, what's his thing? Like, I mean, it's so strange. I've never understood his situation.
He's played with some weird franchises though, because he played for Houston when Houston wasn't good. They just were rough. Then he went and played for Dallas, and I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I just think Dallas is stuck in a situation where they're gonna suck until they don't have Luka anymore. Yeah. I love Luka. I don't love Luka. I think Luka's a talented player. Mm-hmm. But
that team is not set
up to win.
And y'all gonna stop acting like it's the difference between Luka and James Harden.
Man,
it's literally the exact same dude. Like, if you just want to be real about it. And I don't see a path where Luka goes to the conference finals ever again, like in the West. And James Harden went there 3 times.
Right.
So
it'll be interesting to see how Christian Wood responds in LA. I mean, obviously you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Super low expectations for him.
But I'm telling you, man, you put him and Anthony Davis in a front court together.
The guy that he got comps.
Not bad, man. That's not a bad lineup.
He's a hell of a player, man. Like, I think it's a great pickup, especially for what you're paying for him. I just wonder what in the hell is this dude been doing that makes him get such a bad rep? Like, what could he be doing? Because you've seen guys who also have bad reps who still get a long leash. Like, what is he doing? Is he pinching kids on the sideline? What is he doing? You know what I mean? It's wild stuff, man, for sure, with Christian Wood. But that's it. That's a 3-pointer. We'll come back in a minute. We're going to do the Inside the Same Brain. Want to see how you guys are watching TV. Are you paying for this shit? Or are you streaming shit illegally like myself? We'll talk about that when we come back on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
The last time they had players with that level of shiftiness, it's a different look, like it's a different kind of movement that Blake Watson and Sutton Smith have that we haven't seen in Memphis since Kenny. And the dynamic ability that adds is huge, because not only can you use them between the tackles, outside the tackles, but they've both shown that they can be effective receivers. I think Blake had 5 catches for like 37 yards in this game on top of his 75 rushing yards.
3 touchdowns in the first half,
Right. So we've been high on this backfield saying that they have weapons. Still, this took that to the next level.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Anything concerning? We've kind of talked about the picks that Seth threw, some high balls. Anything else that you saw Saturday that you're like, man, they need to get that figured out?
No, I don't think so, man. Especially nothing on defense. I think we looked incredible on defense. The one thing that I think would perhaps concern me is just we're still seeing Seth kind of float some passes and not really settling down. That's more nitpicking than anything. Like, you don't want to see your quarterback, your highly sought quarterback, playing Bethune-Cookman and throwing 2 interceptions.
I mean, I think Silverfield gave it a B-. I think that, given 56-14, but they went out and did what they needed to do, to me. I mean, you beat the brakes off of a team that you should beat the brakes off of, and you looked very good.
Exactly.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Shout out to my man Chris Herrington again. Great segment we had with him. Chris is just a very smart guy, man. Whenever he talks, you want to listen to him, for sure. I agree with a lot of stuff he said, and the stuff I didn't agree with, I had to listen to him.
Gotta listen.
Yeah, he's just a really smart guy. North Memphis representative too, man.
That's what's up.
We were laughing again during the break about, like, that was a real story. Like, I was driving in North Memphis at a light, and I saw Chris Herrington walk across my car.
You're like, what the hell?
Like, Chris might be on that funky town or something, man. But
Funky town?
Right. But no, man.
That's
but inside the same brain. NFL starts tonight. It's the Chiefs and the Lions. This game is going to be on NBC. So if you got a television, even if you got an antenna, you can watch it.
Let's go.
But here's the thing, man. I get a lot of notifications on my phone every time I get on YouTube. They're trying to sell me, YouTube Plus, or sell me this NFL Sunday ticket. I heard you and Paris Sharkey talking, and he was saying some type of NFL Sunday ticket thing is like $400 a season or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm like, man, I ain't.
Right.
Man, it just sounds like y'all are speaking another language to me, man, because I am a proud bootlegger, a proud streamer, and I ain't watching mess on my phone. I'm not on some website.
Right.
I've got a streaming service where I'm paying for it, and I got all this stuff. I've got every NFL game is on my television.
I need to talk to you.
We'll talk after the
episode's done. Yeah.
And I'm driving to the show today, and I had something else I want to talk about inside the same brain. And I'm listening to my man Gabe Kuhn and Jeff Calkins are talking. And they're talking about, oh, man, the prices you're paying for streaming is, it's just ridiculous. I'm like, man, I don't feel sorry for nothing y'all talking about. Like, I'm not paying for that stuff. Like, so Kenny Stubblefield, you just basically told me that you're not opposed to illegal streaming either. And I hate to call it illegal. I hate to make it seem like I'm some type of convict or something.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Breaking news. We got Mark Cuban on the phone.
Okay.
He wants to talk to us.
Right. Mark Cuban in this show. I thought you had some news for real. Yeah,
No,
Mark
no,
Cuban.
no.
But no, man, I'm just saying, bro, like, I'm not paying for that stuff, man. I enjoy watching sports, man. I do. There's no sport that I'm going to pay a monthly bill to watch.
No sport.
That's crazy because I pay all this other stuff, Netflix, all that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to pay $400 to watch the NFL season. Like,
So how do you watch Grizzlies games?
man, I'm gonna tell you. Shout out to Pete Pranica, shout out to Brevin Knight.
Yeah?
But I rarely hear those dudes talk.
Really? How do you watch it then?
When I watch the stream, I'm at the mercy of the stream.
At the mercy of the stream,
It might
right?
be like Minnesota's people talking. It
Yeah.
might be. I could on one time, and Quentin Richardson and
Man,
Darius Miles were doing that joint.
for who?
They were doing. It was some type of. This shit was dope too, man.
Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson.
It was like was it Darius Miles?
God, I feel old, man.
Who was it, bro? I know it was Quentin Richardson.
God, I feel old.
But they were like on some at the house type shit though.
Oh,
Like,
what's up?
They were watching the same game we were watching.
Yeah.
And they were having like just dudes at the house talk.
Oh, I
about
got
the
you.
game.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It was Quentin Richardson and was it Darius Miles? I don't know. It was something NBA.com does.
Interesting.
Something that
Is it KG that does that? Does KG do that with
I don't
and
know.
brings on guests and stuff?
no, it was like like a box in the bottom of the screen where they were like,
Yeah.
they were like on a Zoom call talking about the game. That shit was dope too.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they were talking about the game from a whole different type of perspective.
Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, that shit was dope. But
Like, does it distract you from the game though? Having those dudes in your ear talking about what they're seeing?
nah, because it was good.
Okay.
They was talking some ninja shit.
I got you.
Like it was like, man, them Orlando jerseys used to be cold, isn't it, bro?
Yep.
Like the pinstripe jump, woo! Like they were doing all that type of stuff. They was like, man, that boy D-Bane, he said, man, I don't know what he on, but he after something. I don't know if it's all-star or something. They may after something. But it was just good. I enjoyed it. It was like
Okay,
one of the first games of the season. But typically, like I'm just at the mercy of whatever the stream is showing. Like
Interesting.
I get Pete and Brevin sometimes, and sometimes it's like whoever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also from watching bootleg streams, I get to see. I've found out that a lot of stuff that I thought was a Grizzlies original is not a Grizzlies original. Like everybody's doing the same shit. Like the in arena stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do
Because
the
they don't
same
break away to commercials on the
shit.
stream.
Yeah,
They
you
stay
get-
in-house.
You see the in-house stuff.
They see the
And we
in-house stuff.
totally stole Bungo Lady too. Like that was a Miami Heat thing.
Now, didn't she come from, like, didn't we get her? Like, I don't think she's from Memphis.
Yeah.
I thought they moved her here to be Bongo Lady.
For real? No, man.
I might be wrong on that,
No,
but
I think you're real wrong with it.
I might be wrong on that. I heard somebody say that, but I might be. Listen, Bongo Lady, if you're listening, we know you are. My bad, but
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah,
was
I
told.
don't think that's right, bro.
Okay.
No, at all. But yeah, I'm a bootleg guy, man. I think I'm
feel
fine
you.
with it.
So-
I have a service where I'm paying $36 for 3 months of service, and on Sunday every NFL
What
game.
the
is on.
hell? Me and you need to talk after this.
Every NBA, it has a list of every team. Like if I go, I can click Houston Rockets, and if the Houston Rockets are playing, it shows the Houston Rockets game.
What the hell?
Like it's every game, bro.
So I am and I hate it. I hate this so much.
Mm-hmm.
We went from Xfinity. We had Xfinity, the cable service, because we had also the business internet in our house.
Right.
And I think 2 years ago, the Grizzlies stopped. They didn't renew their contracts with.
I remember that.
We did the stream. We started doing streaming services after that. Like, so we cut Xfinity, went to Hulu, went to all that kind of stuff. Had live TV on Hulu. Well, then I think 2 years ago, didn't renew their contracts with any streaming service other than Direct TV Stream. So DirecTV has their cable service, but they also have a streaming service.
Yeah.
So we cut Hulu and went to DirecTV Stream,
bro.
and it is terrible. Terrible.
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. Like I've got Hulu, I got Max. I want to say Max is like free with my phone though.
Yeah.
I got Hulu, I got Max, I got Netflix, I got
So do you have live TV on Hulu?
I got Peacock. Some of that stuff is live on Hulu. Like, no, I ain't got like regular channels though. No, I got all that in my bootleg stuff, man. All this, I got all that.
Streaming has become when we first did it. It was like a $200 difference a month in
not
price.
no more.
Not anymore.
Man, bro, I could really cut all that off too, but stuff like that, I want to watch it when I want to watch it.
Right.
A lot of times with that type of stuff, like if it airs tonight, it might not come on the bootleg joint until tomorrow. Like I want to watch Winning Time or whatever when it drops, or Marvel
Right.
stuff when it drops. I got Disney Plus too, which is trash, but I got that too, and I want to watch that stuff when it drops. I don't want to watch it tomorrow, so that's the only reason why I pay for that type of stuff. But it's sports stuff, I'm not paying for that, man. I'm not.
I
For
mean,
real.
literally, the only reason we stopped Hulu to go to DirecTV Stream was because I wanted to watch the Grizzlies live, and it was probably the biggest mistake
Bro,
in terms of
we'll
like
get you hooked up, man.
It was terrible
Get you hooked up.
because everything else on it. The only thing that's redeemable about it is that they have the Grizzlies live, and I get Pete Pranica and Brevin Knight every single week.
I love
every
them
single
guys,
game.
but I rarely hear them.
That's crazy.
I love them. I rarely hear them.
Yeah.
I'm at the mercy of whatever stream they give me on my bootleg joint for sure. But you guys may want to join me this season, man. Because I heard the Bally's thing is like, man, that was the most bullshit app. Like, bro.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too. I would see people crying and complaining about Bally's. Like, hey, you ain't got to deal with that. Come on over to the dark side. Come on over here, man. This is a legal stream we got going over here, man.
There's only one sport that I will actually pay to watch, and that's the UFC.
Yeah.
But it
It
depends
got
on.
all that. Pay-per-views,
See,
WWE, all that stuff, bro. I don't watch, bro, fights, all that.
nah, Peacock has WWE. They stream WWE.
But I'm just saying, bro, I ain't got to have it.
No, I feel you. That's
like,
crazy.
for real.
That's
I got
crazy.
Peacock, so I watch wrestling, you know what I mean, when it
Right.
happened, or the replay. But the thing I got all that on there, bro. I'm going to hook you up. Well, we can make it
wild.
happen this week.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. But it's been another great show, man. Props to my man Chris Herrington for sure. My man Kenneth Stubblefield behind the glass. Another good one, man. Good to have you back, man, for sure. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with us, supporting us, man. Go. So when we do the player show, the Tiger football player show,
Yeah.
can fans come and watch this show happen as it's
We
going on?
want to pack that place
Yeah,
out, man.
yeah.
It's
Go
a
do
Let
that,
It
man.
Fly,
Let It Fly.
Germantown. Dope spot, man. We set up a table. We got Christian out there hosting it with 4 players. This week is going to be we got Colby Drake, William Whitlow Jr., Terrence McClain, and Rock Taylor.
Look at me not knowing who the hell none of them folks are.
Well, let me tell you, man. 2 defensive guys, 2 offensive guys. Rock Taylor's somebody to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
The wide receiver for the
I believe you, man.
Memphis
Hey,
Tigers.
You say so, I believe it,
It'd
bro.
be fun, man. We have a good time. You can hear it in there. I mean, come in, get some drinks. It was so crazy. Real quick story. We were at the place, and the bartender at Let It Fly was pissed at us the whole time. She was giving me some dirty looks during the show. And I went up to her and I was like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? And she said, this is a sports bar and y'all want us to be quiet. And I'm like, I don't want y'all to be quiet.
No,
But
do
they got
you?
mics on their faces.
Yeah,
you
do
can
you?
talk. You can be loud. This is a bar. This is why we're doing it. We're not doing it at Benjamin Hook's library.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing it at Let It Fly
Yeah.
Memphis. So
when is the next one? Y'all record on
Tuesday night at 7:00.
I was gonna come last week. I was tired of shit. I might fall up in that joint.
Come on, man.
Just to support, man.
It's a fun time.
You might get to see the man himself, Anthony Sain.
Let's go, man.
The guy you saw on the billboard on 55,
Let's go.
or out there by where Sycamore View. I ain't seen that one. I just saw the one on 55. But yeah, man. For Kenny Stubblefield behind the glass, it's your boy Anthony Sain. We'll see you guys next week here on the Anthony Sain Show. See y'all next time.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.